authentic Wagyu brisket. That is what we're doing today in the pellet smoker on trimmed. And if you're new to smoking brisket, I'm going to give you step-by-step instructions on how to spice this and smoke this on the right temperatures. So first we're going to dry this off really good. So there you have your Wagyu brisket dried off. Look how flimsy it is, just a sign that it's very tender. Yeah, so we're going to go through the process of cooking this on trimmed, and at the end we'll reveal how well it turned out and give it a taste test. So now we're going to add the spices. I'll put a list in the description. Pepper, a good amount of pepper. Coarse salt, vegetable spice, onion powder, Montreal steak spice, garlic powder, and smoked paprika. Right, just leave that set like that. Now we're going to flip it to the fat side. This is the side that we're going to cook up and try to get a nice bark on it. And we'll do the same thing to this side. Good amount of salt. This helps draw out the moisture, and all the spices adds the flavor. And you do want a lot of salt and pepper for the simple reason is it's a very thick piece of meat, and it just adds to the flavor when you bite into it. So we have this all spiced up. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let this set for an hour or so. That's going to draw out the moisture. It's going to firm up, and the spices are going to get more firm. We'll give it a little shake just to shake off the excess, and then we'll put it in the smoker on 220. We're going to smoke it till it reaches 160, and then we're going to wrap it and go from there. And by that time, all the spices should all combine with the fat rendering down and make a nice crust. So let's set the smoker to 220. Brisket's been setting for about an hour. You can kind of see, or I believe you can see on the camera, that the salt actually drawed out a bit of the moisture, and the spices has already started to form like a bit of a crust. It's all combined together. So take your brisket, and we're gonna just give it just a little shake, not too much. And then it's ready to go in the smoker. Smoker's up to 220. Gonna put the meat thermometer in so we know what the internal temperature is. Fat side up. The brisket's been on 4.5 hours now, and we are at 140 degrees. And we're gonna take it out and take a look at it, see what it looks like. Assess it a little bit. Oh, it's looking really good. Give me a show. So I'm really surprised at first glance, without trimming it, how it's most of the fat that rendered it in the liquid, it's mostly all ran off. A lot of times when I trim it, it's worse than this. So first impressions are nice, and it's like it's built up a really nice firm crust. Oh, that's really nice. So what I like doing now is, this is my little trick to make it really good, in my opinion, is I just take pure butter where this is all nice and dry, and I'm going to cover it once. This is going to help crisp it up even more. I pour it all over, I drizzle it and let it all run down. Oh, that's just beautiful. I say that butter will help crisp it up. It won't burn, it's on a low enough heat, it's good. So do that, and then what I got is I got a mixture of brown sugar and some spices, which I'll put in the description so you can make up. I find that there's, we put a lot of salt and pepper on this, and then a little bit of sweet halfway through the cook. It just sweetens it up a bit, and that's beautiful. So just cover that nicely, and then we're gonna put it back in the smoker. I mean, this is beautiful. Maybe I won't trim no more. Yeah, we'll put it back in the smoker, and we're going to let it come up to, I'm going to let it come up to about 165 before we take it out and wrap. So we're ready to take the brisket out and wrap it up. It's been 7.5 hours. We're just a bit over 160. I'm excited to see how it's looking. Okay, so very interesting. I mean, it's really doing up nice without trimming it. And the little extra pieces that you normally cut off, like they're getting really crispy, they look delicious. So It's going to be really interesting to see how this turns out after it's wrapped. I think it's going to be a really good brisket. So let's take it inside and wrap it up. So I'm going to pour a little bit more butter over it, drizzle it. Now let's wrap it up. There you have your nicely wrapped brisket. I'm gonna wrap it in tin foil for the simple reason is I like to catch all the drippings, because then I make a cowboy butter out of that, which is absolutely delicious. Back in the smoker it goes, and we will take it out when it gets to 203. 17.5 hours, and the internal temperature is at 203, and it's time to take it off the smoker. Oh, and check out, I got some really yummy bacon. If you ever wondered how easy it is, check out the video. I'll put a link to it. It's awesome bacon. I can feel how tender that is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this inside and we're gonna leave it cool down till the internal temperature is about 140. Then we'll unwrap it, take a look at it. Very curious to see how the bark turned out, and then we'll leave it cool down even further and take a cut and see what it looks like. Beautiful Wagyu brisket, I bet ya. Untrimmed. So the temperature internally in this is down to 140. We're gonna unwrap it and see what it looks like, and then I'm gonna put it in the oven, and because the oven is like it's an insulated box to keep the heat in, and that will allow it to cool down slowly for another 4 hours. But let's take a look at it, see what it looks like. Look at that, beautiful. Oh, it feels very tender. A lot of juices at the bottom. Oh, I'd like to cut in that, bite in that right now. But we'll let that cool down, and we'll be back to cut it and check it out. But it definitely, overall, what does everybody think? I think it looks pretty good for on-trim brisket. So the brisket's been sitting for another 4 hours in the oven, and it's cooled down enough that we can remove it and slice it and see what it looks like. So there, we'll put that on a cutting board and we'll give it a slice. So we're ready to cut this and see what it looks like, give it a taste. But first, it'd be great if you'd hit the subscribe. And if you enjoyed this video, I got this great video on smoking a Thor's hammer. And if you've never smoked a Thor's hammer, it turns out just like pulled pork. So check that out, and let's give this a cut. It's very tender and moist. Not trimming it didn't make a big difference. I'm sure there's some that if they had a great deal of fat, it might be a problem. But this looks great. Now, look at that. Look at the juices running out of that. It's falling apart. I think it helps too that it's Wagyu. The Wagyu beef too, it's different. It's better. So yeah, it looks beautiful. Look at that juice coming out of that. So fat looks good. Looks got a nice crust. So let's give it a cut. Let's give it a little cut here. Try. That meat is beautiful. And if you never tried a Wagyu, it's definitely worth the extra money. They're not even quite double, but check it out. You know, smoke one, do it this way. They're great, they're incredible. Have a good day.